Council meeting of October 8, 2024 is hereby called to order. Ms. Colleen, can you please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Broomfield. Mr. Adams. Mr. Perk.
Here.
Mr. Melvin.
Here.
Mr. Rodrigue. Here. Mr. Arabi.
Here.
Chairman Oten.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Mr. Lorraine. And President Chasson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Colleen. If everyone would please rise, we'll be led in invocation by Councilman Melvin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Adams.
Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here. We pray especially for those who are about to undergo a tremendous Hurricane Milton. We pray for all those recovering still from Francine and those recovering from Helene. Pray for our country and that we can do your will. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. Thank you for attending. We respectfully ask that everyone please put your phone on silence and/or turn them off out of respect for the others. I'd like to remind anyone wishing to address the council to please fill out a blue form. They're at the door when you walked in. Please get them up to the council clerk. We'll be certain to recognize you during public wishing to address the council. In addition, on each ordinance, I will ask for public input. So if you're wishing to discuss a particular ordinance, you feel free to come up, recognize yourself, and during that ordinance to speak your mind on it. When we get to resolutions, those are the ones we only discuss among the council members before we bring it to a vote. With that said, we're going to jump right into tonight's meeting. Item A, approval of minutes. Number one, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the September 10th, 2024 regular session. So moved by Councilman Adams, second by Councilman Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 2, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the September 24th, 2024 special session. So moved by Councilman Adams, second by Councilman Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item B, state and/or federal legislative updates. Do we have any state and/or federal legislators wishing to address the council tonight? There are none. It brings us to item C. None. We have none. Brings us to item D, proclamations. Item 3, Parish President Archie Chesson to present a proclamation recognizing St. Jude's efforts in treating childhood cancer. This was deferred from the 9/10/24 LPC meeting. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir. Hold on. Here we go. And
there we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas in the United States, childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children and is the second leading cause of death among children in Louisiana. And whereas each year approximately 16,000 children and teens in the United States are diagnosed with cancer, while 900 patients are actively being treated in Louisiana. And whereas one of the largest pediatric cancer hospitals in the world, St. Jude, treats more than 8,000 patients each year. And whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently dedicating their expertise to treat and cure children with cancer. And whereas, thanks in part to the better therapies, St. Jude has helped to develop more than 80% of the United States childhood cancer patients now becoming long-term survivors. And whereas families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, food, so they can focus on helping their child live. Whereas every child deserves a chance to live their best life and celebrate every moment together, so we can save more lives. Now, therefore, I, Archie Chesson, Parish President of Lafourche Parish, do hereby proclaim September 27th, 2024 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Gold Day. I think we got some folks here tonight. Maybe not. Yep. Nope. Maybe not. Okay. Well, at least we read it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Brings us to item 4, Parish President Archie Chesson to present a proclamation proclaiming October as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Mr. President, you have the floor again, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas around the world, almost 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience physical or sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. And whereas 1 in 15 children are exposed to domestic violence each year, 90% of those children are eyewitnesses to the violence. And whereas children who witness domestic violence are often meet the criteria for PTSD, and the effects of the brain are similar to those experienced by combat veterans. And whereas children who are exposed to violence are at an increased risk of aggressive behavior, depression, anxiety, impaired and or delayed development, and difficulty interacting with their peers, all of which can lead to lower academic achievement and performance issues in schools. And whereas the children often internalize the violence and believe that they are to blame, leading to low self-esteem and a feeling of worthlessness. Children can grow up in domestic violence or 6 times more likely to commit suicide. And whereas individuals who are exposed to domestic violence during childhood are at a higher risk of substance abuse issues later in life, often using as a coping mechanism. And whereas in 2023, Lafourche Parish law enforcement agencies responded to 1,097 domestic violence-related calls, and 762 restraining orders were issued in Lafourche to victims of domestic violence seeking protection from their perpetrator. And whereas in 2023, the Haven provided a safe home for 71 women and children, answered 129 domestic and sexual assault crisis calls, and facilitated 353 counseling sessions to 67 survivors of domestic violence from Lafourche Parish. These statistics underscore the critical need for intervention, support services, and preventive measures to mitigate the impact of domestic violence on adult victims and their children to help lead them to healthier and more stable lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in recognition of the compassion and dedication for Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, the Haven Domestic and Sexual Violence Program, the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office, and the PAC Place, the Place of Supervised Visitation Exchange Center, for their efforts toward eliminating violence against women, I, Archie-Chasson Parish President Lafourche, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And as a parish, let us acknowledge that we must significantly improve the outcomes for children of Lafourche, therefore creating peace here at home. I think Ms. Heidi and some others are here to accept the proclamation. Yep.
This one.
Yes, on.
This year, as you can
If you
hear,
don't mind, just state your name and address for the record.
Pam Guidry, 710 Church Street, Lockport, Louisiana. As you can hear from the statistics, this year we chose to focus our attention on children who are the silent witnesses of domestic violence. And it's crucial to remember that the devastating reality of domestic violence does not only touch the lives of adults, but impacts children profoundly. Whether they witness violence directly or live in a constant shadow, these children are forced to grow up way too fast, often internalizing the hurt in silence. Many carry the weight of guilt, wrongly believing that they could have done something to stop it. So we come before you today to ask you to help give voice to their experience. Children need our love, our support, and our unwavering commitment to breaking the silence of violence that threatens to define their future. We owe it to them to ensure that the love and security they deserve is not just a distant dream, but a living reality. So on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, the PAC Place Supervised Visitation Center, the Haven, and the Lafourche Parish District Attorney, we thank you to the Council and to President Chasson for your support each year. And we would like to also invite you, everyone, to our vigil on October 15th at 6 p.m. I put an invitation on everyone's desk at the Lafourche Central Market under the overpass. And thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, with that said, brings us to item 5. Parish President Archie-Chasson to present a proclamation proclaiming Tuesday, October 15, 2024 as Infant Loss Awareness Day and encouraging all residents to wear pink and blue on this day. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas pregnancy and infant loss happens to numerous families in our community, and whereas 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage, and where 1 in 100 pregnancies are affected by stillbirth, and whereas each year about 24,000 babies pass away before celebrating their first birthday in the United States. And whereas these babies' lives matter, and support groups are always there to strive to celebrate lives and help their families walk this journey. Now, therefore, I, Archie-Chasson Parish President Lafourche, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, October 15th as Infant Loss Awareness Day and encourage all residents to wear pink and blue on this day. Residents are welcome to attend the public event, Wave of Life, put on by a local nonprofit pregnancy and infant loss awareness support group, Moms of Hope of the Bayou region. This event will begin at 6:30 p.m. at the House of Prayer located in Thibodaux, as candles will be lit to honor all the babies taken too soon. I think Heather and her squad are here to take the proclamation.
something with that backdrop on those pictures. That's horrible.
That's it, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Half a door in the middle. Gotta put something on that wall. Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Item E, presentations and/or updates. Item 6, Judge Marla Abel, Division C, 17th Judicial District Court, to discuss the condition of the parish courthouse buildings. And Judge, you have the floor, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here today. Marla Abel, my address is 303 West 3rd Street in Thibodaux. I do have some materials for you all to look at, if I may approach, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
And I hope I have enough copies.
Thank you. One for the record.
Yeah.
Thank you again for allowing me to be here to speak. I know that being a public servant is a lot of times a thankless job, and that it involves a lot of criticism, and it involves a lot of complaints, and what you do most of the time when you're fulfilling your job as a public servant is listen to complaints. And I just want to make sure that you know I'm not here today to add to that list for the fun of it. I am not happy to have to be here today. I'm here today because I think that there's a very important issue that is directly affecting the administration of justice in the 17th JDC. Judges are typically precluded from speaking about any matter at a public hearing like this, with the exception of the law, the legal system, and the administration of justice. So here I am today to talk to you about how the current conditions of the Lafourche Parish Courthouse are directly affecting the administration of justice. I've provided you all a packet. The first tab is just the basic law as it relates to the parish's responsibility in providing a good and suitable building for a court and room for jurors. And those two statutes are attached for you just for your reference. I know that the parish owns a lot of buildings, and that a lot of them are old, a lot of them have been damaged by multiple storms over decades. A lot of them are in poor condition. But there is one very specific thing that sets apart the courthouse from every other public building, and that is that anybody who is 18 years of age or older at any time may randomly be selected to be ordered to show up at the courthouse and serve as a juror, or potentially serve as a juror, and they don't have a choice in the matter. They have to show up. If they don't show up, they face the risk of contempt, they face a risk of paying a fine, jail time. It's a very serious charge. That is what separates the courthouse from every other public building that the parish owns and maintains. Just to give you a little bit of an idea about how many people are involved in coming into the courthouse every single day, the Supreme Court of Louisiana collects data about the number of jury trials that we have and the number of filings that the clerk of court takes in the 17th JDC. In 2023, there were 18 jury trials held in the 17th JDC. Now, for each of those trials, you have about 150 to 250 people at random who live anywhere in the parish, all over the parish, who are summoned and ordered to appear in court. And in addition to that, you have 15,300 filings last year in the 23rd JDC. So you add the number of people who are coming for jury duty, the number of people who are coming as litigants, as witnesses, as attorneys, the security personnel, court staff. We have drug court that operates out of the main courthouse. We have family preservation court. You're looking at thousands and thousands of people who come into the courthouse every single year. And a lot of those people are not coming voluntarily. They are ordered and required to be there under the threat of contempt. I say that to emphasize that me being here is not about the comfort of myself, and it's not about the comfort of judges. This is about allowing the court to be a servant of the people, like it is intended to do. Currently, we have 2 buildings that serve as courthouses, the old courthouse building and the courthouse annex building. Both were damaged in Ida. The courthouse annex building sustained pretty severe damage from Francine. The plan now is to have all 5 judges use the white courthouse, the old white courthouse, which is only has 3 courtrooms in it. The second tab shows pictures of the current condition of that old courthouse building. You can see there is still a lot of damage from Ida. There's still the moisture reading stickers on the wall. There's a lot of ceiling tiles missing. There are ceiling tiles that fall, sporadically. As you look through these photographs, I'll just ask you to think to yourself, what is the message that this sends? What does this say about law and order? Is this a place that portrays a judicial process that is taken seriously? Or does this look like a place that no one cares about? Conditions affect the attitude and the behavior of the people who are in that building. That means the people who are there accused of crimes, the attorneys, the employees, everybody who comes into that building. The third tab is a series of questionnaires from jurors who have served on a jury in Division C from the years of 2020 through 2024. And I'll just ask you to read through those and note what those jurors say can be improved about the system. I'll just point out a few of them. The one that stood out to me is that the facilities are outdated and damaged, not becoming of a courthouse. Better facilities. We pay taxes for the maintenance of the structures. Fix them. Improve the actual facility. Our participation in the process was important, but the facility delivered a different message. These are people who were called away from work, ordered to come to the courthouse, put their lives on hold, didn't try to call and get out of jury service, knew they had a civic duty, came to the courthouse, served it, did what they were supposed to do, and this is the way that they feel about it. There's some more questionnaires in here as well, basically that say the same thing. And then tab 4 is a picture or several pictures of the Division C courtroom, which is where those jurors who filled out those questionnaires would have served. And the conditions are the same in the photographs as they were whenever these people served on the jury. So I know that there is no quick fix to this. This can't be done. It can't be solved overnight. But I would just encourage you as the council to consider that a properly functioning court system is an essential element of a civilized society. We have to have a place to resolve our differences. And we have to have people respect the judicial system and respect the law when they come to the place that is the symbol of justice. And again, I'll go back to what does it say when the symbol of justice for our entire parish is falling apart? And with that, I will thank you all again for the opportunity to be here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
I just wanted to thank Judge Abel for coming by and letting us know, because I've been in a courthouse before, but I got a different tour this time, and I saw a lot of damage. And I'm just hoping that we can, make sure that what's on the calendar and in front of us can get done, and work with the administration as best we're able to make, sure we can expedite what's within our power, as well as maybe future improvements and maybe some preventative maintenance. So, but thank you for taking me on that tour the other day.
Anyone else? Terry Araby. Mr. Araby, you have the floor, sir.
I'd like to question the parish president to see what is his game plan with his administration to try to fix it. I know money's tight, I understand that, but this is 3 years now, according to some of the pictures I looked at since Ida, and I was just kind of wondering what's the game plan, if we're going to, get the repair work done or not.
All right. You have to press your button, get off. There you go. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Judge, thank you for being here tonight. I think the judge left out a couple of key facts, right? One, about 4 months after we took office in 2020, we convened a group to try to figure out how to institute a set of repairs to the courthouse and the annex, right? And Mr. Araby was working here long enough that he will know that there were a lot of administrations before us that didn't do a single thing for that building, right? And I think that's a huge part of the problem. And I was one of those groups, right? We just, the courthouse was not a huge priority. It went to recreation, it went to drainage. The judges were mostly happy, so we didn't really tackle a whole lot of projects in there. Fast forward to Hurricane Ida, I think in that discussion, we started to have some discussion about how to build a new courthouse, right? And how other parishes have done that. So we convened a group of older attorneys, younger attorneys, a couple of the judges, and figured, when you look at how some of the other parishes did it, they raise filing fees, basically. And you bond out that money and you build a new courthouse. That's how Ascension did it a couple years ago. That's how most of the parishes do it. A majority of the attorneys in that room were not in favor of raising filing fees, because then it's basically you're taxing people who are filing for divorces and petitions and all that fun stuff, a lot of civil stuff. So that was a no-go. So that left us with about $1 million project to begin the restoration. This council back in late 2020, very early 2021, hired Kevin Grow and his architectural firm to begin those renovations. We met with the judges individually to figure out what they wanted. Part of that was meeting with Judge Abel to figure out she needed a bigger jury room, she needed a bigger courtroom, she wanted to change some things on the chamber side of that wall, and we began that process. Fast forward 4 months later, and Hurricane Ida hits and ravages the courthouse and the other 32 buildings that the parish is responsible for. That $1 million renovation project turned into a whole renovation of the courthouse and the annex. That process was ongoing, as you know, with all of our buildings. We started with the roofs. We caught a lot of flack for the courthouse and rebuilding the dome on the Vatican, right? Because it's all brand new copper and it was nice and shiny. The roof on the courthouse annex was just about done when Francine hit. And unfortunately, because of that temporary roof that was still on a portion of the building, as well as the old windows and the old bricks, the courthouse and the annex, again, took some water damage. So that I think Francine hit on a Wednesday. On a Friday, we had the chief judge, Judge LaRose, the DA, the clerk of court, myself and Mitch and the sheriff, all in our room trying to figure out how we were going to move people around. So what that has forced us to do is move the clerk of court, and I appreciate Ms. Fontana. I know she's not here for that tonight, but the hard work of her and her staff in moving out of the annex into the third floor of the DA's office, into a bottom, I think, broom closet of the old courthouse, maybe. It's a very small room, and I'm sorry on that. So they can keep their operations running. We're going to open bids next week. The following week on the interior renovations of the annex. That project will take 90 to 120 days. So in the March, maybe beginning of April, we'll have a brand new annex, including Judge Boudreau and Judge Abel's rooms, courtrooms and their offices, as well as the second and third floor offices for Annette and her staff, as well as the bottom floor. After that, then we have to figure out how to coordinate calendars to get the judges out of the old courthouse to do the exact same thing. Now, I will say that the old courthouse is going to take a whole heck of a lot longer because it's on the historic register. You can't just slap new vinyl windows in it. You can't just throw up some pretty stuff on the outside and make it look nice. You got to go through the State Historic Preservation Office, which was kind of what was taking us so very long on the initial project back in late 2020, early 21 before Ida, and what's kind of extenuated that process out as Kevin Grow and his firm has worked through that. I mean, guys, look, this is the same conversation we have. We've had it on the libraries. We've had it on everything. I get it. 3 years is a long time. But, I will say that I'm sure that the people who come into this government office, the people who go into Thibodeau, while they may not be ordered to go there by a judge in a subpoena for jury duty, don't want to see the stained ceiling tiles. I'm sure Dylan would love to be back in his office in the back of this building that's been gutted. I'm sure people in Galliana would love to have a library and a government complex down there. It's been a series of priorities, and no matter what I do, when I start working in Billings and Thibodeau, I get beat up by Daniel and Dylan because we're not doing it in South Lafourche. I start working in South Lafourche, I get beat up by you guys on the north end that we're not doing anything in Thibodeau, right? So either way, I'm the bad guy at the end of the day, and I respect that. That's why I got a big behind and a big balding spot. That's just what happens in my job. But we are moving forward. Like I said, in early March, we should have the annex done, and then we'll cross over to the courthouse after that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President, one of the questions I asked earlier this year, obviously been someone that gets contacted pretty regularly by attorneys, et cetera. I know there have some reactionary also issues you have to deal with, air conditions, elevators. I don't know if you want to briefly comment, because those are also setbacks. And some of the challenges, like with the elevators, if you don't mind just mentioning that.
Yeah, you have to.
I got to jump Mr. Daniel. Daniel, if you don't mind, can you press your button just for a second, let him answer that question? And I'll bring you right back up. Press it again.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we had a huge set of issues, and it affected Judge Abel's court again in the annex and the historic courthouse. The elevators that were put in there are probably older than Daniel. No offense, Daniel, they just old. They just old. No offense. But it's hard to find people who can work on that stuff. And in one particular case, and I forget if it was the annex elevator or the courthouse elevator, we actually had to take a part off, ship it to California to remachine it, to ship it back to us to install it, and then when it got back here, it still didn't work. Right? You can't just go run to Napa and buy a new widget for this elevator. We've had issues in Judge LaRosa's courtroom with air conditioners during big trials, one of which I think maybe a couple of people in here were involved in. When you get a jury in there, when you get a bunch of people who just go to court for a specific court case, it gets really hot. It's a 300-year-old building that's on a top floor with no insulation, right? Not a whole lot I can do about that at this point. But we have, specific to the annex, we have finished the roof. They're about done with the old jail replacement, which is the building next door. And then we still have to replace the windows, the impact-resistant windows. We're going to seal and coat the exterior of the building, so hopefully we don't have the rain issues penetrating the old brick that we had during Francine. We have to repair the plaster and the drywall. We have to remove the drop ceiling and replace it. They are getting a new air-conditioned HVAC system in both the annex and the courthouse. New lighting, new floors, new furnishings for all the benches and the rails, the jury boxes, all that fun stuff, and then repainting everything. There'd be a redesign and reconstruct of the electrical feed to facilitate a generator hookup. That way when the parish comes back online, they have power for not only the clerk's office, so she can begin to do her job, but that the judges can connect and do magistrates and the other fun stuff that they do, when they don't need people in court. And I'm not an attorney or a judge. I don't pretend to be one. So there's been a multitude of factors, but again, it's taken 3 years, and it is what it is.
So in 2 weeks, you say
2 weeks we accept bids,
so
90 to 120 days.
We'll be able to get an update on how that goes.
So if we open bids next two Tuesdays from now, you guys will approve it on the first meeting in November. And then we'll get a pre-construction meeting set up after that. And then hopefully by late March, early April, we're back in business.
For the annex. Okay, so Mr. Lorraine, I apologize for doing that. You have the floor, sir.
Well, thank you, Ms. Marla, for coming. And people don't realize that Ida put a whipping on this whole parish. And things are not the same. What I want to say is that I've been here 41 years. When I qualified to run 41 years ago, I went to the clerk of court's office. I don't know if Mr. Landry was there. They had Landry, Bobby Terrio, Vernon Rodriguez, and now Annette. I dealt with most of them. And I went back and qualified last year to run again. And it was 41 years that I went. And the place was basically the same thing like 41 years ago. And I'm not going to blame it on Archie, and you can blame it on all the parish presidents if you want. It takes money to do anything you want to do. it takes money. When you got money, we all shine up here when we do things. But it gets to a point where sometimes you gotta, I say pick and choose, you gotta go priority, and sometimes some of them get overlooked. Look, 3 years, library in Golometa. I got a sign that says future library, a sign. Hope it doesn't take 3 years to get it built. But it's just that it takes money, and you got to prioritize things. And like Archie said, you can blame some of the previous ones that were here, because sometimes, 10 years ago, we had money you wouldn't believe. Sometimes it's spent not in the right place, and sometimes it's spent in the right place. But I'm glad you come forward. Seems like they're going to take some kind of action, and I'm not going to blame him, although he's mentioned my name quite a few times. He must like me. But anyway, thank you for coming. Now that you came forward, I'm sure you had conversations. Now that you have come forward, I think we might see something. And once again, it's the first time I see you. I stay away from judges in the courtroom.
Most people try to.
I like to just tell them hello when I see them. And
Understood.
to be honest with you, I'm going to be 72 years old, and I went to court on a fight one time. And Judge Noblock
You
told
should
me,
knock on wood, I think.
Judge Noblock told me, don't you ever come back here. And I never went back. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine.
And just to clarify, I understand this has been going on for a very long time, and that this did not happen overnight. But you all heard the statistics regarding domestic violence in this parish. That's who this affects. It's not me. It's not about me. I don't want the Taj Mahal. That's not what I'm asking for. In order to achieve justice for victims in those cases, you have to have a functioning court. You just have to, and there has to be a way to do that. So thank you all again for your time and for your questions and for your interest.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Brings us to item 7, Ms. Annette Fontana, Lafourche Parish Clerk of Court, to discuss early voting in the Clerk of Court office move.
Good evening, Annette Fontana, P.O. Box 818, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I did have a little PowerPoint for you. We're working on it. It's brief, I promise.
Okay.
No, I didn't. It's on a parish jump drive that says Lafourche Parish. I got this from parish government. Oh, there we go. All right, we're going to go back one. All right. Okay, so first I'm here. I am the clerk of court, but most of you know that right now I'm knee-deep, so to say, in my role as the chief elections officer for Lafourche Parish. Over the last couple of weeks, we've trained almost 400 commissioners to work for Election Day. We've done that here at the government complex. And some of the feedback that I got from my commissioners were that when people come to the polling places, there's just some information that they don't know what's on the ballot, information about early voting, things like that. So I wanted to make sure I came here and gave everybody the opportunity to get some information. I think this was brought up previous by Mr. Chasson. We, of course, have temporarily relocated as a result of Hurricane Francine. We were able to come to the table the day after Hurricane Francine with the district attorney, parish government. We had the chief judge with us and the sheriff's office, and we were able to find a way to fit 5 departments, 3 floors of personnel onto the 3rd floor at the third block building at 200 West 2nd Street. It's a tight squeeze for us, but at the end of the day, if any of you know me, which y'all do, it's about getting the job done, and we got a big job to do. in the next upcoming weeks. We do still have our offices at Lockport Town Hall, and we have our office in Cutoff behind the Port Commission. So we still do have personnel there. And I'm just going to say this, and I want you all to be rest assured, and the citizens to be rest assured, that despite the challenges that we faced, we are ready for the election coming up. And we're fully functioning on that third floor. It's not pretty. So when you come up there, it's not the service that you would normally receive at the Annex building, but we are getting the services, all services done for the personnel. And I'd like to note, because I know the judge was up here talking about the facilities and things like that, the clerk is the heartbeat of the judicial system, because without us, the whole system really can't function. And so we were able to get that done, get a relocation done, get it going. But, you know, I have to agree with all the information that Judge Abel gave you. You know, it's been a struggle, but I'm hopeful because we've been working with the parish to get this project going, and hopefully it'll be bid out. We'll get some renovations. We'll be back in our home, hopefully by April. I'm hopeful. We're all hopeful. Couple of things about the November 5th election. Everybody knows that we have a presidential election. There's nobody, I think, in America that doesn't know that. But I think I'd like to just point out for all of our citizens of Lafourche that we have a lot of other races on the November 5th ballot. And we have U.S. Representative for Districts 1, 2, or 3. We have Public Service Commission for District 2, that's us. We have a constitutional amendment, and I am going to put that up for everybody, because that seems to be one of the things that the voters aren't too sure about what really comes up. In the South Lafourche community, we have Great Lafourche Port Commission, seat F. Town of Golden Meadow, they have the mayor, chief of police council. Town of Lockport, you have the mayor and the town council. Then, of course, you have Recreation District 2, that's a tax renewal. Those are wards 3 and 7. Election day is on a Tuesday. Polls open at 7 a.m. For those of you that go to work, you can stop in and vote early, and they close at 8 o'clock. I figured I'd take the time to put up the constitutional amendment that's on this particular ballot. This constitutional amendment, I'll read it for those watching at home, is, do you support an amendment to require that federal revenues received by the state generated from outer continental shelf alternative or renewable energy production be deposited in the Coastal Protection and Restoration Fund? That is the only constitutional amendment that we have on the ballot. Now, I'm here for information purposes only. I would encourage the citizens to go online. There are several sites that they can find information about a vote for this constitutional amendment and a vote against this constitutional amendment. The first is on the legislature site, and they have information about what this amendment does and what this amendment doesn't do. The second, there is a group called PAR Louisiana. It's Public Affairs Research. Every year, they put information out on the constitutional amendments and what a vote for does and what a vote against does. So I would encourage you, because a lot of people do, again, this is where a lot of the voters are not quite sure what is coming up on the ballot, is these constitutional amendments that come out of the prior legislative session. Additionally, any of your ballot information you can always find on our website, lafourcheclerk.com. We have an elections tab. It has all the information you need for the elections. Point it to you. Okay, that's good. There we go. Okay, early voting. Because this is a presidential election, we have 10 days of early voting, as opposed to our normal 7 days of early voting. Early voting is going to be from October 18th to October 29th. We have, and that's 8:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. We have 3 early voting sites One is the Registrar of Voters in Thibodaux, where it has always been. The second is here at the Matthews Government Complex. I will encourage anybody in the Central Lafourche area, this is a great place to early vote. We have a lot of room in the back room. It's you can get in and out of here in a good amount of time. And then additionally, the newest place, the temporary place, is the Veterans Memorial District. That is at 16937 Highway 3235 in Cutoff. And I really want the voters to know this because previously we were at the LaRose Civic Center. We can't do that this year because they have a festival going on during that period of time. And so we had to temporarily find a location. I know Mr. Boudreau worked with the parish, he worked with the parish administrator to work to get the Veterans Memorial District available for the citizens in the South Lafourche community. We did not want to have them voting in a trailer or in some type of tent or some type of mobile unit, because it's really just not conducive for the amount of turnout that we were going to have. So I will definitely encourage you all to approve number 62 on your agenda, which is related to approving an approval in relation to that site. Okay, next slide for me. The easiest way for the voters to get election information is to download the GoVote app. You can check your voter registration. You can make sure it's up to date. You can actually make changes to your voter registration through October 15th at 4:30. So for example, if you want to change your party affiliation, your address, you want to update your name, for example, maybe you got married and you wanted to register in your married name. You can do all that through the app, or you could do it directly at govote.com. I would encourage all the voters to go and check their voter registration information at govote.com. Because what has happened this year is many of you may have gotten a voter registration card in the mail. I know some of you may be shaking your head. I got my voter registration card. We had a significant amount of voter registration cards come back with that little yellow tab from the post office that says undeliverable, moved, address not available. So in relation to those voters, the registrars require to put a mark on that voter record, to mark that voter record inactive, okay? So the voters will have to correct that information. It's just really a way of checks and balancing. And so I would encourage everybody to go to the GoVote app. If there's something wrong with your voter information, there's going to be a big red message tab in that application. Once you log in, it is going to tell you that there's something that you have to do, and you're going to have to verify yourself, and there are methods to do that. If you don't do that and we couldn't verify your address, I will want to caution the voters that when you get to a polling place on election day, there may be a form that you have to complete and sign because we could not, for some reason, we need to confirm your address. So it's just another way for us to checks and balance in the election system. But I didn't want any voter to be upset if for some reason they need to fill out a form, or if it takes a few extra minutes because maybe their information has not been properly updated from that standpoint. You can go to the next slide. The next slide shows what you can find in GoVote. In this particular, as an example, it'll have your information, your ward, your precinct. This application will actually map you to where your voting precinct is. It will open up the map application from this app. If you don't even know where to go to vote on election day or early voting, it will map you there. You can find all your election officials. And like I said, it will have your ballot information. But like I said, if something's wrong with your voter record, there'll be a big red message tab, and it will tell you that there's something that you need to do with the registrar. And of course, if you vote, this is the I voted sticker for 2024, which you would be surprised how many people are so passionate about their sticker. We do have the stickers. This is the graphic, the artist that provided it. That's all I have. Thank you. I will answer questions from any of you if you have them.
Does anyone have any questions for the clerk of court? Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor first, sir.
Yes, thank you for coming, Ms. Fontana. And on the early voting, you have, like you said, you had 10 days from the 18th to the 29th, but also the 2 Sundays, they won't be open.
That's correct. The Sundays are not
And you
open.
also mentioned 16937 Highway 3235 is where the Veterans Memorial District is
It's
at.
behind, it's a,
Cut off.
yes,
Almost centrally located in Ward 10.
okay.
And Military Road, that's the name of the road.
Military Road, thank you.
And to really get to it, a little bit below the Sonic. So you can't miss it. Okay? If you're hungry, you go get a burger.
Well, Mr. Lorraine, I'll just say this, and all of you know this. After Hurricane Ida, we had to do a lot of moving of polling locations. Of course, we are still a kind of a temporary location with the Port Commission. So facilitating an early voting site in the South Lafourche community was extremely challenging, because not only do we need to operate there for 10 days, for the 10 days of voting, we have to operate before and after, and that has to be a secure place for us to have our equipment, and then additionally, we have to use it again in December. So it was very difficult. We appreciate the Veterans Memorial District for working with Mr. Boudreau in the parish, in helping the citizens of South Lafourche, because really that's who this is for.
I'm sure it's going to pass the council tonight, but I personally want to thank the Veterans Board
Yes.
for helping us out, because like you said, they're not going to be having another meeting there until January, because they don't want to have nothing to do with saying voting for this or voting for that. They're going to stay out of it completely. And it's a fine facility, and I want to thank the president and their board members, Mr. Kurt Schwess, for letting us use this. Well, not me, the people.
Yes.
And the good part about it is centrally located in Ward 10, because you have an election in Golden Meadow, you have a Port Commission seat, and you don't have to go to LaRose. So I'm getting a little closer to the south. Thank you.
Yes, we're very thankful to the Veterans District. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Pert, you have the floor, sir.
The only comment I just want to reiterate what our parish president said. I happened to speak to Annette, I think the Monday after the storm, and she was pretty wet and weary. But again, thank you and your staff for moving. When she got the go-ahead to move to the 3rd floor of the DA's office, she didn't wait for the movers. She didn't know if they were going to show up or not. So her and her staff did that, and we just appreciate your commitment, because, again, if she can't do her job, then our judges can't do theirs. So, again, thank you.
Yeah, and just with regards to the move, we did move a lot of things ourselves. I'm not a woman that waits, but we did have some help with some big equipment that we had. We did also move some big equipment, but I will just wanted to point out that we work with the sheriff's office, and the trustees came out and they did assist us in moving some of that equipment on that day. But if any of you passed downtown, I'm sure you saw a lot of the ladies that work for me, and I have some gentlemen, but they were all in their shorts and they were all carrying something, across the street. But thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you for continuing to do a superb job, too. Much appreciated. That's
Anything
it.
else?
He's good.
Okay. All right,
Thanks
thank y'all
again.
so much.
Appreciate it. Next on the presentations, I have Mr. Corey Williams with the U.S. Small Business Administration. If you don't mind, just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Corey Williams, Public Information Officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Address is 6501 Sylvan Road, Sacramento, California, 95610. Well, good evening, esteemed council. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Parish President Jason, for allowing me to present this evening. My name is Corey Williams, Public Information Officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration's Office of Disaster Assistance, Disaster Recovery and Resilience, actually, the new name. First off, my heart goes out to those impacted, now with Milton coming up, with also Helene, but most importantly here in Lafourche Parish with Hurricane Francine. Those business owners, homeowners, renters, nonprofits who were impacted, that's why I'm here. We've been here about 3 weeks as a result of the presidential declaration. So the first step in the disaster recovery process is to actually register with FEMA. And there are numerous ways to actually register with FEMA. You can go to disasterassistance.gov. You can call the 800 number, which is 1-800-621-3362. And a lot of people don't realize that 3362 actually spells out FEMA. You can download the FEMA mobile app. But most importantly, we have a FEMA State Disaster Recovery Center right in this building, open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this is the best resource for anyone that's impacted here in Lafourche Parish, whether you're a homeowner, business owner, renter, nonprofit, to be able to meet with customer service representatives from FEMA as well as the U.S. Small Business Administration. So a part of the process and how we work in conjunction with FEMA is that SBA offers low-interest disaster assistance loans to not only businesses of all sizes, but homeowners, renters, and nonprofits. And I'm going to cover a few of the changes from Hurricane Ida. I know that's still in the heart of many people who have been impacted. So for homeowners especially, during Hurricane Ida, the loan limits for homeowners was up to $200,000. And our administrator, Isabel Guzman, actually noticed that that was creating a shortfall for homeowners. So that residential limit has now been increased from $200,000 to now $500,000. And also from Ida, the personal property limit was at $40,000. Now that's been increased to $100,000. So now a homeowner can actually borrow up to $600,000 to repair, replace disaster damaged real estate, as well as personal property and any vehicles lost, with interest rates as low as 2.813%, 12-month deferment, 12-month zero interest. So the one thing we want to make sure is that people are, going through the full process, registering with FEMA, and also simultaneously also applying for SBA. Renters can also borrow up to $100,000 to repair, replace disaster damaged personal property, which would include their vehicles as well. Interest rates again at 2.813% with that 12-month deferment and 12-month zero interest. For our nonprofits, a lot of people don't realize in Lafourche Parish, there's a number of events that take place. A lot of festivals. I always hear about this festival, that festival. Well, Hurricane Francine may have delayed, it may have canceled, it may have postponed some of those festivals. So for that nonprofit organization, that was anticipated revenue on a given day. So if something's moved from October to April or from October to December, well, for that nonprofit organization, that creates an economic injury because they were anticipating that revenue on the day the event was originally supposed to be held. So nonprofits can experience economic injury as well, and that's why we have the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, which provides working capital to the nonprofits to keep their nonprofit organization running during this recovery period. And those interest rates are fixed at 3.25%. Again, whether it's churches, other nonprofits, keep in mind that, again, it's that same 12-month deferment, same 12-month zero interest. And again, they also are eligible for any kind of real estate repair, machinery, inventory, equipment. But businesses also can borrow up to $2 million to repair, replace disaster damaged real estate, machinery, inventory, and equipment. But again, for a Lafourche business owner, the need for working capital to sustain the business during this recovery period is so vital. And one of the things I always always mention for any Lafourche business owners that, one of the options you may have is to borrow maybe up to $25,000 unsecured for the physical loss, up to $25,000 unsecured for the economic injury. And because there's that 12-month deferment and 12-month zero interest, if the business gets back operation within the course of the year, you pay off the loan, there is no loan because the interest didn't accrue and there was that 12-month deferment period. So there are federal monies out here available for anybody in Lafourche Parish, whether you're a business, homeowner, renter, nonprofit. We strongly encourage you to visit the disaster recovery centers while they're here. We always say as long as the need exists, we will be here. And the deadline to apply for physical damage is November 18th. So again, we are approaching that as we get closer. And again, although my mind and heart is with all those that are impacted in other areas, right now, my priority here is Lafourche Parish, along with my other designated parish for those that were impacted by Hurricane Francine. So I thank you all for allowing me to present this evening, and I'll open up for any questions you may have.
So first off, I just want to comment, I was kind of mesmerized because you were so on point and rattled. You never looked at any footnotes. I mean, you're an impressive speaker.
Thank you,
I don't know if
Chairman.
anyone's ever told you that, but holy moly. I was sitting there mesmerized, like, this guy is good. This guy is good.
Well, I love
not your
what I
first
do.
rodeo, I can tell you that.
Thank you, Chairman.
Does anyone have any questions? We just had a festival. We did good.
Yeah.
Corey, we thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
all.
So I do have one more presentation, which is Fire District 3. It would have to be a 2-minute presentation, or we have to deviate and come back to you, Devin, so it's up to you. But we have to do it at 6 p.m. We have to do a public hearing. You can do it in a minute? All right. So we'll recognize now Fire District number 3, and immediately thereafter, we'll have to deviate on the agenda to our, so Devin, you have the floor, sir.
All right, thanks for having me. Devin D. Dunn, Fire Chief, Fire District 3. I'm going to go over the hurricane response. We had 105 calls for Hurricane Francine. Before the storm, we worked together with the other agencies, Sheriff's Office and other fire departments, to move some of our trucks to the northern part of the parish because our buildings are still damaged, just like the courthouse. We're working with FEMA and insurance. We hope to settle next month, but still a process. We'd like to thank the Sheriff's Office for housing one of our trucks and Fire District 1 for housing one of our trucks. Some of the calls we responded to were structure fires. We had 3 of them. We also had carbon monoxide calls. People still put the generators inside of the house. So we encourage people, we put signs up, we put posts on Facebook and the newspaper, please run your generators outside your house, well away from it. We also install carbon monoxide detectors in the homes. So if you don't have one and you need one, contact the local fire department and we'll put it up for you. Firefighters did a great job of clearing the roads, trees, and a lot of trees down Highway 24. Berg Fire Department assisted with that, so we'd like to thank them. Parish government, Public Works was on top of the sandbags. I mean, every time we ran out of sandbags, they were right there to dump it, so they did a great job of staying on top of that. After the storm, we got a call from several residents saying they were hungry, they needed food. Stores are back open, so we told them to go to the store, and they said, hey, we don't have any money. We spent the money getting ready for the storm. So we contacted Red Cross, and bless your heart, put something together, and we was able to put the firefighters out there helping feed them for a couple of days. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor first.
Yes, I need you. First of all, I want to thank you and the firemen and all the first responders, because I've always said you don't just put out fires, okay?
That's it.
But I'd like for you to tell the council that y'all saved the guy's life, you and another fireman. Can you explain that real quick?
Yeah, so Devin, unfortunately, I'm going to have to deviate. If he wants to stay, it's 6 PM, we have to do a public hearing.
I'll stick around.
Can you?
Thank you.
It's real interesting to
Yeah,
hear
and
this.
look, I appreciate my partners. So anyway, with that said, I got to entertain a motion to deviate. We got a motion on the floor by Councilman Rodriguez, second by Councilman Abbey, to deviate to item H. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. With that said, item H, 2024 millages, public hearing and public meeting at 6 PM. I'll now entertain a motion to open public hearing and public meeting for the 2024 millages. So moved by Councilman Arabi, second by Councilman Perk. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 8, this will be the discussion to levy, not rolling forward, 2024 millage rates for the following. I'll name all of them. If anyone would like to comment on this, we'll ask for discussion on the back end. Council on Aging, General Alimony, Criminal Tax, Veterans Memorial District Ward 10, Special Service District Number 1, Library 014, Library 017, Public Buildings, Drainage Works and Roads, Recreational Facilities, Health Unit, Fire Protection District Number 9, Health and Library, Fire Protection District Number 4, and Fire Protection District Number 1. Any discussion? There being none, I'll now entertain a motion to close the public hearing and public meeting for the 2024 millages. So moved by Councilman Perk, second by Councilman Rodriguez. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item I, public hearing and public meeting and ordinance for ratification. This will be a voice roll call vote. That's what we have to do on each ordinance. And we're going to go down the list. We'll start from the right to my left because that's how it's in order on Ms. Carlene's. And then on the final signed copy of each ordinance, each council member's name shall be noted as to which way voted next to yeas, nays, abstain, or absent. So I'll now entertain a motion to open the public hearing and public meeting. So moved by Councilman Rodriguez, second by Councilman Arabi. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. And I am required to mention, due to Hurricane Francine, the public hearing for the following ordinances was published on October 1st, 2024 to comply with Article 5, Ordinances, Resolutions, and Motions, Section 2, Enactment of an Ordinance, E, Public Hearings, I, General Hearings of Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. With that said, now we'll come into onto these ordinances. And just to be clear before we start, so I know different entities have agreed that they're rolling forward, not rolling forward, et cetera. So as I understand, and that's what was part of the discussion we just had. So a vote against this is basically saying that you're against that rolling forward?
None of these are rolling forward.
So all the ones that are here are the ones that are not rolling forward? Okay. So these are the ones that are holding steady, just so we're all clear.
That's right.
Anyone have any questions on that? Because it's such a confusing topic, as we talked about when Wendy was here. Okay, brings us to item 9, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche. Council on Aging, some motion by Councilman Adams for administration, second by Mr. Brumfield. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 9? Second call, anyone from the public would like to comment on the ordinance at number 9? Last and final call, anyone from the public on ordinance at number 9, anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed. Oh, I'm sorry. Daniel's eyes were lit up over there. Councilman Brumfield.
Yay.
That's a yay. Councilman Adams.
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Melvin.
Yay.
That's a yay. Councilman Oten, yay. Councilman Perk.
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Rodriguez. Yay. Councilman Arabi.
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Chesson. Yay. And Councilman Lorraine. Yay. I'm only reading it just in case because they don't have their mics on, just go a little faster. So motion passes 9-0. Item 10, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche, General Alimony. Moved by Councilman Adams for administration, second by Mr. Brumfield. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 10? Second call, public input, the ordinance at number 10. Last and final call, anyone from the public would like to comment on the ordinance at number 10? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring this to a vote. Councilman Brumfield. Yay. Councilman Adams.
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Melvin.
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk.
Yay.
So yay. Councilman Rodriguez. So yay. Councilman Arabi. So yay. Councilwoman Chesson. That's a yay. Councilman Lorraine. That's a yay. Motion passes 9-0. We doing good, Ms. Carleen?
I'm good, sir.
Okay, item 11, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, criminal tax. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Brumfield. Would anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 11? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 11. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 11? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Adams?
Yeah.
Yay. Councilman Melvin?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Roderick? Yay. Councilman Araby? Is a yay. Councilwoman Chesso? Yay. Councilman Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 9-0. Item 12, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Veterans Memorial District, Ward 10. Councilman Lorraine for the administration, second by Councilman Araby. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 12? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 12. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 12? There will be none, we're going to bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield.
He's still out the chambers.
Okay, so Councilman Brumfield has stepped outside the chambers. Let the record reflect at 18:06 hours, so he will be out of chambers. Councilman Adams?
Yeah.
Yay. Councilman Melvin? Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Roderick? Yay. Councilman Araby? Yay. Councilwoman Chesso?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 person having stepped out of the chambers, and that being Councilman Brumfield. Still good, Ms. Carleen?
Yes, sir.
Item 13, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Special Service District Number 1. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 13? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 13. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 13? Anyone from the council? There will be none, we'll bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield is still outside the chambers. Councilman Adams?
Yeah.
Yay. Councilman Melvin?
Yay.
Councilman Oten, Melvin was a yay. Councilman Oten? Yay. Councilman Perk?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Roderick? Is a yay. Councilman Araby? Yay. Councilwoman Chesso? Is a yay. Councilman Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 person being out the chambers, that being Mr. Brumfield. Item 14, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Library, 014. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 14? Second call, anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at 14? Last and final call, anyone from the public would like to comment on the ordinance at number 14? Anyone from the council? There will be none, we'll bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield is still out of chambers. Councilman Adams?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Melvin?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Roderick? Yay. Councilman Araby?
Yay.
Yay. Councilwoman Chesso? And yay. And Councilman Lorraine? Nay. Motion passes with 7 yeas, 1 nay, the nay being Councilman Lorraine, 1 person having been out of the chambers, that being Councilman Brumfield. Item 15, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Library, 017. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 15? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 15. Third call, public input on the ordinance at number 15. Would anyone from the council like to discuss the ordinance at number 15? Let the record reflect, Mr. Brumfield has re-entered the chambers at 18:08 hours. With that said, we'll bring this one to a vote. Councilman Brumfield?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Adams? Yay was a yay. Councilman Adams was a yay. Councilman Melvin?
Yes.
Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk?
Yay.
Yay. Councilman Roderick? Yay. Councilman Araby?
Yay.
Yay. Councilwoman Chesso? Yay. And Councilman Lorraine? Nay. Nay. Let the record reflect, the motion passes with 8 yeas, 1 nay, that being Councilman Lorraine. And that brings us on to item number 16. Ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche public buildings. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 16? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 16. Third and final call for the ordinance at number 16. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 16? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield? Yay. Yay. Councilman Adams? Yay. Yay. Councilman Melvin? Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk? Yay. Yay. Councilman Rodrigue? Yay. Councilman Araby? Yay. Councilwoman Shesso? Yay. Councilman Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 17, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche drainage works and roads. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 17? Second call, public input for the ordinance at number 17. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 17? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield? Yay. Yay. Councilman Adams? Yay. Yay. Councilman Melvin? Yay. Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk? Yay. Yay. Councilman Rodrigue? Yay. Councilman Araby? Yay. Councilwoman Shesso? Yay. Councilman Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 18, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche recreational facilities. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 18? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 18. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 18? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Councilman Brumfield? Yay. Yay. Councilman Adams? Yay. Yay. Councilman Melvin? Yay. Yay. Councilman Oten is a yay. Councilman Perk? Yay. Yay. Councilman Rodrigue? Yay. Councilman Araby? Yay. Councilwoman Shesso? Yay. Councilman Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 19, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche, the health unit. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 19? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 19. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 19? There be none. Anyone from the council like to discuss? Okay, that brings us to voting. Mr. Brumfield? Yay. Yay. Mr. Adams? Yay. Yay. Mr. Melvin? Yay. Yay. Mr. Oten is a yay. Mr. Perk? Yay. Yay. Mr. Rodrigue? Yay. Mr. Araby? Yay. Ms. Shesso? Yay. And Mr. Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 9-0. Item 20, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 9. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 20? Second call, public input, and ordinance at number 20. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 20? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Mr. Brumfield? Yay. Yay. Mr. Adams? Yay. Yay. Mr. Melvin? Yay. Yay. Mr. Oten is a yay. Mr. Perk? Yay. Yay. Mr. Rodrigue? Yay. Mr. Araby? Yay. Ms. Shesso? Yay. Mr. Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 9-0. Item 21, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Health and Library. Ms. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 21? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 21. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 21? Anyone from the council? There being none, bring it to vote. Mr. Brumfield? Yay. Yay. Mr. Adams? Yay. Yay. Mr. Melvin? Yay. Yay. Mr. Oten is a yay. Mr. Perk? Yay. Yay. Mr. Rodrigue? Yay. Mr. Araby? Yay. Ms. Shesso? Yay. Mr. Lorraine? Abstain. Abstain. Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention, that abstention being Mr. Lorraine. Item 22, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 4. Mr. Melvin for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 22? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 22. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 22? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Mr. Brumfield?
Yay.
Yay. Mr. Adams?
Yay.
Yay. Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Yay. Mr. Oten is a yay. Mr. Perk?
Yay.
Yay. Mr. Roderick? Yay. Mr. Araby? Yay. Ms. Chesson? Yay. Mr. Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes 9-0. That brings us to item 23, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 1. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 23? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 23. Third and final call. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 23? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. Mr. Brumfield? Yay. Is a yay. Mr. Adams?
Yay.
Yay. Mr. Melvin? Yay. Mr. Oten is a yay. Mr. Perk? Yay. Mr. Roderick? Yay. Mr. Araby? Yay. Ms. Chesson? Yay. Mr. Lorraine? Yay. Motion passes by a vote of 9-0. I now entertain a motion to close the public hearing and public meeting. So moved by Mr. Roderick, second by Mr. Araby. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Would someone like to make a motion for a short recess as we have a bunch of people stepping out? So we got a motion by Councilman Melvin to take a 8-minute recess, second by Mr. Adams. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0.
I saw you doing this, vote 2 minus.
So moved by Councilman Perk, second by Councilman Roderick. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. I'd like to now entertain a motion to deviate back to presentations, I think it is.
Sir.
So moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Councilman Perk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Back on presentations, Fire Chief, if you don't mind, and please resuming the mic. And once again, I do apologize. Miss Carlene was poking me in my side, said, hey, it's time, so.
No, it's good.
So the mic, hold on. Got it? Rachel?
Got it, right?
Got it. You good?
All right, thank you. So as I was saying, I think he asked about the life that was saved. It was actually 2 of them. August 31st, about 7 p.m., we was dispatched to a vehicle that flipped in the bayou around Jefferson Street, Golden Meadow. We arrived on scene, and it was actually on 308 with the state bridge being out, the Golden Meadow Bridge. We would not have been able to get around to get to the people, so we chose to swim across the bayou. So
Wow.
we swam across the bayou. About halfway there, we could hear the 5-year-old screaming for help. There was about 7 inches of airspace in the vehicle, so we opened the back hatch and was unable to get him out the back. 2 of us pulled the driver door open, still had power going to the vehicle, so was able to use the electric seats to move the seat forward, reach in, grab the 5-year-old, and then we grabbed the 22-year-old and was able to get him out to safety. 5-year-old was flown to Children's, made a full recovery, and the 22-year-old made a full recovery as well. So it was
Wonderful.
good save. And look, use that as an example. The firefighters all across the parish do this every day. You know, it just, this one time with the Golden Meadow Bridge being out, we was able to get to them and help them out.
Yeah, it's a real good story. Because, look, I know that children in a house that's burning, when you get that report, is a difficult one. But anyone that's in the bayou upside down, because that's a tremendously tough task. Yeah. When they sink in that mud, that's one of the heaviest ones on a fire chief. When you get that call, that's a tough one, because it's going to be a real difficult one. So it was great that one worked out. Most of them don't.
Correct.
So, Mr. Lorraine wants to address you. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor first.
I think most people know your name, so who was the other guy?
Bobby Weskovich. He's a captain with the fire department. He's also a Golden Meadow police officer.
Okay.
Good deal. Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
One, I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you. And just tell people, one of the things with infant seats and things of that nature, when you travel in the bayou, you need to keep that attachment that can cut those seat belts. I know we've got a young grandson, and it's attached to his car seat, that if for some reason the vehicle ends up in the bayou, hopefully somebody can grab that attachment to cut those those straps and get that child out. So-
Correct. It's important to keep that attachment either Velcroed under your seat, on your key ring, or somewhere you can grab it, because when you flip in the bayou, it's no longer it's not in the cup holder anymore.
Yep.
Good point. Mr. Araby, you have the floor, sir.
I just want to congratulate Devin and his partner for a job well done right there, man. That's awesome. Because I know that bayou not very wide right there. I mean, it's very wide right there compared up the bayou. Because y'all had to do a lot of swimming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good job. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chief. Much appreciated. Thank y'all for coming. Same to you, Miles. Thank y'all for attending tonight. All right. That brings us to item F, engineers and architect reports, and we are good. So it brings us to item G, public wishing to address the council public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. Ms. Carleen, you have the floor, ma'am.
Mr. Zachary Gisclair, if you'd come to the podium, sir, state your name and address for the record, Mr. Gisclair, and please remember you have 3 minutes.
You picked one heck of a meeting to come to. It's normally like not this long.
Yes, Zachary Gisclair, 506 West 159th Street, Galliano. Just coming here tonight, good evening, and thank you all for having me. I just wanted to come in and announce that I am running for Greater Lafourche Port Commission, seat F. As Ms. Fontana said, that is coming up this year. Me personally, I'm a graduate of Lafourche High School, 1989. And I'm also a graduate of Nicholls State University, class of 1993. I am a lifelong resident of the 10th Ward and married 26 years, 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and most of them live in the 10th Ward. Personally, I just wanted to, and recently I'm a lifelong Republican. I did recently get the endorsement of the Lafourche Parish Republican Party, which Mr. Melvin is a part of, so I appreciate that. The reason why I wanted to run, my personal history with the port, since the port's inception, I've had a grandfather, an uncle, and a father that were all port commissioners at one time or the other throughout the history of the port. Professionally, I worked in the port for many years with 2 very large tenants that the port has. So I'm very familiar with the workings of the port, very familiar with how they do things. And the reason why I'm taking the time now to run, I've heard it mentioned several times, her name today, Hurricane Ida. I've seen what Hurricane Ida did to the community, especially the 10th Ward. And the port is one of the very few shining points we have for the port, for personnel working in the port, providing a living, and providing a tax base for our parish and for the 10th Ward. So hopefully, if elected, that's where my focus will be, to make sure that the port stays viable, stays competitive, and stays forward-thinking, whether it be the LNG plants that's coming in or at the airport. They're looking at doing an industrial park to where companies can come in, companies that work with the port, and now that they have easy access with the new bridge and the corridor, they'll be able to stay and have a building there inside the protection levee. So those are some of the things I'm looking forward to working for. That way the port stays competitive again and stays to where our future generations have something to look forward to. Because right now in the parish and the 10th Ward, it's a mess. Ida really did a number on it, so hopefully the port will serve that purpose, and that's why I want to be a part of it. Again, early voting, 18th to the 29th, and I hope if everybody gets out to vote. Again, my name's Zachary Gisclair. I'm number 37 on the ballot, and I would appreciate everybody in the 10th Ward considering voting for me.
Thank you, Mr. Gisclair. Anyone have any questions? Very good. Thank you, sir.
On the mic.
Much appreciated.
Any questions?
Good to go.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all I have.
All right, so now I need to entertain a motion to deviate back to item J. So moved by Councilman Perk, second by Councilman Araby. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. So return back to item J. Public hearing and ordinances for ratification. Once again, I'll read. Due to Hurricane Francine, the public hearing for the following ordinances was published on October 1st, 2024 to comply with Article 5, ordinances, resolutions, and motions, Section 2, enactment of an ordinance. Item E, public hearings. Item I, general hearings of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. With that said, I now entertain a motion to open public hearings. So moved by Councilman Perks, second by Councilman Roderick. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 24, ordinance amending ordinance number 1409, reducing the speed limit from 20 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour on School Lane, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 6, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Councilman Adams, second by Councilman Brumfield. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 24? Second call, public input. Item 24. Last and final call. Anyone would like to comment from the public, would like to comment on this ordinance related to the speed limit? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 25, ordinance establishing a no parking fire lane at 135 West 158th Street, installing 4 no parking fire lane signs at 135 West 158th Street across from the north side of the fire station, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary 4 no parking fire lane signs at the location stated above and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Araby. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 25? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 25. Last and final call. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 25? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Yeah, wanted to comment on that?
No.
Yeah, because I looked for you.
I had asked Devin to stay, but he probably forgot. Okay. What it is we have 2 signs that are up there. That was before I even took that area. And when they have something going on at school on a Saturday, they can't get in and they can't get out.
Back out.
So if we put these 6 signs, and we're going to have 6, and 4 here, but there's 2 already there. I did that at South Lafourche because they had signs that said no parking in between signs. But everybody parks in between the signs. So what I did, I just come up every 10 feet and put one, and then they can park behind it or they can park in front. But they keep blocking these guys that need to get the truck and all. And that's what that is. Thank you anyway.
Thank you, sir. Item 26, ordinance to establish the placement of up to 4 garbage cans at all public boat launches in Lafourche Parish. Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Adams. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 26? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 26. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 26? Anyone from the council? Mr. Chesson, you have the floor first, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know what Councilman Lorraine's trying to accomplish here. It's kind of in retrospect to the Leeville boat launch, right? Where the garbage cans were there and we took them away because there was some trash issues. We're working on a plan to try to figure that out with the Keep Lafourche Beautiful, but I don't see the need to establish a law that says we have to go put up to 4 garbage cans at all the public boat launches, right? Kind of asinine to me, but I mean, I get what he's trying to do. We're working on it, but I just don't think we need an ordinance. You could have just called and said, hey, Arch, can you go put 4 at all? But, you know, you could pass it and then maybe override the veto, but I just think it's you don't need it.
Yeah. So, Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yes. What took place here was you just don't have a boat launch here. You have a fishing pier that's used by all kind of people from the area, outside the area, all the time. And I had a guy call me one morning about 4 or 5 months ago, and he said, Daniel, somebody stole the 2 cans. So what I did, I started checking. I said, well, it's possible. I'm not going to tell you that it's not possible, but it never happened before because we got a rack, 2 racks. So I started checking into it, and nobody really stole the garbage can. The parish picked up the cans. They picked up the cans because they said they were throwing the trash on the ground. So we all know that you can have all the garbage cans you want, that 70% of the people is going to throw it in the can and 30% is going to throw it on the ground. Okay, we all know that. But my point, I didn't want to just put Leeville, Okay. And I sat in Archie's office and I talked to him about this. I said, put my 2 cans back. The reason why, no extra money from the garbage people for the Leeville boat launch. He's got to go to the gate and pick up Miss Bryant and her son, and he goes make the turn in the launch. And the cans are not there. He still goes. So I didn't want to put this just for me or Leeville. I wanted to put it for everybody. Now, you can put 1, you can put 2. I don't want this to happen again, because what happened here was childish, you know. And I went and sit down and asked them, put back my 2 cans. And if he wants to veto it, we can also override the veto, you know. And I'm going to say this before I quit. You are paying more for garbage and trash than you ever paid in your life in Lafourche Parish. Today, you're paying 7/10 of a penny, and you're paying $16.50 on a water meter, thanks to Mr. Chasson and Martin, the school board guy, okay? In 1985, we paid 1 cent all the way to 1996. From 1996 to 2023, we lowered it to 7/10. And in 2023 till now, you're paying 7/10 plus $16.50, which is the highest paying you ever paid for garbage and trash. And I rest my case.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Burke.
I think the parish president kind of answered my question, because it is an issue, and I understand all parts of it. We see it at the Layton launch. We've got a couple of cans out there that when I say the Friends of Bayou Lafourche and the freshwater district try to manage, and you get people that throw all their seafood and everything else, so that when it comes time for the people that pulling up a boat and just want to throw a few cans or a little bag of trash, they end up throwing it on the ground anyway. And I know it's an issue at all the launches, but if we've got sounds like you guys are working on something, then that kind of answers my question.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Perk, Mr. Lorraine. It's nothing personal. I mean, I believe in having cans because we don't want it on the ground, but I mean, you kind of blanket a statement with, because you got uptight because your cans were stolen, or excuse me, removed by the parish. And look, I believe we need cans, okay, but I didn't get a call to say, hey, do you want 4 cans at your launches? Or, I mean, we need cans, but if they have a plan, I mean, I'm not looking to have a triple redundancy like the space shuttle to have cans, you know, or to catch it. So, I mean, I'm going to defer this. I'm going to vote no until I get some clarity on what we're going to do.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Chasson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the biggest struggle, and what we're trying to figure out is how do you police it, right? Because in Mr. Lorraine's case, the issue is not that the cans were there or weren't being emptied by River Birch. It was the fact that we had a busy weekend at the pier and the launch, and we had people, the cans were full, right? Because the garbage truck passes, I want to say Thursday or Friday. I don't really know what day it is. But then you get a Friday night, a Saturday, a Sunday, and those 2 cans are full, or those 4 cans are going to be full. So what we're struggling with is who's going to police it, right? And I think we have that figured out. We're going to have one employee that every week is going to visit every single boat launch, at least once a week, make sure the cans are empty, the grass is being cut. We're trying to still figure out with the freshwater district what happens to the Melodia launch, the new one. Technically, they built it kind of ours, kind of theirs. So we got to finish working out that agreement so we can put cans there if we're going to do this. And then when Keep Lafourche Beautiful, when the grant opens up in about a month, we're going to apply for some permanent cans, right? Not just the green cans. Well, I don't know, but the issue with the dumpster becomes what else ends up in there, right? We saw that late. You end up with deer carcasses, you end up with mattresses, with crawfish peelings, because as much beautiful stuff as we can put out there, you can't fix stupid, right? And somebody's gonna abuse that, whatever we put out there, whether it's a garbage can or a dumpster. And that's the struggle. That's why historically we have never put cans at boat launches, right? Because you end up with dumb stuff in there, you know, that you shouldn't have. And we got to worry about picking up mattresses and, you know, whatever else is going to end up there. So it's been a plan that we've been working on ever since Mr. Lorraine and I sat down and talked about Leeville to try to figure it out. That's why we haven't put the cans back down there. Still trying to figure out, because we knew it was going to happen again. And that same guy's going to call and say there's going to be trash everywhere because we don't have a mechanism in place to police it. So, and I will also add that we wasted more money publishing this ordinance than you paid for garbage last month. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so, and for for me, Mr. President, this is an executive branch issue. It's not a legislative by far. But I will say that I can confirm that we have discussed, because I've been asking since the previous administration, that a single individual be responsible for the boat launches. And y'all know I bring this up. And I will tell you that in the last discussion I had with Mitch, that we're getting that person. And I think until you have that person, this is going to be a messy issue. Because in Lockport, it has been. We've tried dumpsters and everything, and it turns into disaster. Until you have a person specifically assigned to it. But for me, this is an executive side of the House. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
You can basically propose any ordinance you want.
That's right.
And if you believe in the environment, support this. I mean, you don't have to have 4 cans at every boat launch, at least 1, 2, depending on what's needed. My deal, the reason why I put it for all boat launches is to be fair with everybody. And let's take Golden Meadow. The town of Golden Meadow, the boat launch belongs to the parish. Garbage truck don't even have to go there. The town officials takes care of that completely. And they do a damn good job. Okay, the truck that I'm talking about in my district at a fishing pier and a boat launch has to go there no matter what. He goes there no matter what. So for me to do the right thing, I put all public boat launches, you know, and got a brand new boat launch on 308 in St. Charles. It'd be nice to have a can there. Maybe they have one, maybe they don't. If you got a can, in most cases, they're going to throw it in the can, okay? And all of a sudden, they're going to come up with a plan after I proposed an ordinance. Hey, this is 5 months this is going on. You don't think they could have went back and put those 2 cans? They could have done that because the truck goes. What more can I say? So you know what? Let's see if you're for the environment or not. Vote your conscience.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion? Now we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes, raise your hand, please. So in ayes, we have Mr. Lorraine, Ms. Chasson, Mr. Araby, Mr. Roderick, and Mr. Brumfield. Nays say nay. Should be Mr. Perk, Otan, Melvin, and 1 abstention. Motion passes with 5 yeas, 3 nays, nays being Perk, Otan, and Melvin, and 1 abstention being Councilman Adams. All right.
Thanks.
Brings us to close public hearing. I entertain a motion to close public hearing. So moved by Mr. Roderick, second by Mr. Araby. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes, 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item K, proposed ordinances. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir. Go for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. Proposed ordinance number 27, proposed ordinance to install no 18-wheeler signs at the entrance of Highway 3235 turning into West 163rd Street on each side, north side and south side of West 163rd Street, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish, Lafourche, State, Louisiana, requiring placement of no 18-wheeler signs, provided penalties for the violation thereof. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Number 28, proposed ordinance establishing unmuffled compression brakes prohibited signs on Highway 308 in LaRose, with 1 sign being placed on the southbound shoulder of Highway 308 approximately 48 feet north of the intersection of Highway 308 and Lee Village Drive, 1 sign being placed on the northbound shoulder of Highway 308 approximately 494 feet south of the intersection of Highway 308 and Edward Road, 1 sign being placed on the southbound shoulder of Highway 308 approximately 364 feet north of the intersection of Highway 308 East 7th Street, 1 sign being placed on the northbound shoulder of Highway 308 approximately 468 feet east of the intersection of Highway 308 and East, Main Street. And authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer all said application and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Chasson for the administration. Number 29, proposed ordinance declaring property as surplus belonging to Lafourche Parish government, authorizing disposal of surplus property, authorizing advertising surplus items for sale, authorizing acceptance of the highest qualified bidders, and any remaining items that are deemed to have no value will be properly discarded, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Chasson for the administration. Number 30, proposed ordinance granting a variance from the Lafourche Parish subdivision regulations from the 70-foot width lot frontage, reducing to 60 feet with lot frontage to Cane Ridge Phase 3 as recommended by the Lafourche Parish Planning Commission at their September 25th, 2024 meeting. Moved by Mr. Perk for the administration.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin.
Thank you, sir.
That puts us at item 30 with about 40 more to go. Item L, resolutions. Number 31, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ann Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $3,890 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 354 Como Drive, Lockport, Louisiana, 70374, assessment number 00414633033, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor first, sir.
Well, first of all, you're using nuisance abatement funds? That's what it says. Legally, you can't do that. Lockport, Golden Meadow, and Thibodeau is not in this tax code. I got a copy of the ordinance right here. 5421. When FEMA was here, they did work in Lockport, they did work in Golden Meadow, they did work all over. They could do that. But this tax, and the administration better come look at this real quick because we might be in a bind. This tax expires at the end of 24. That's pretty soon. 10-year tax. And I'll read it to you. I'm just going to read you the part. Shall special district number 1, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, the district, be authorized to continue to levy 1 8/10 tax, the tax on all property subject to taxation within the district, an estimated $1,400,061, reasonably expected at the time to be collected from the levy of tax for an entire year, for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2015 and ending with the year 2024, which that's where we are right now, and use the proceeds thereof for the purpose of constructing, acquiring, improving, and maintaining lighting facilities on the streets, roads, highways, alleys, and public places in the rural areas of the parish, and paying the costs associated with the abatement and control of public nuisance in rural areas of the parish, such as the destruction and the disposal of abandoned properties and condemned buildings, provided that at least 60% of the annual proceeds of the tax shall be budgeted for public lighting. Can't do it, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine.
The rural areas. The rural areas of the parish is everybody but the municipalities. Lockport pays its own lights. Golden Meadow pays its own lights. I'm going to give you a little history lesson. Golden Meadow pays its own lights, and Thibodeau pays its own lights. This abatement is for the rural areas of the parish. And this tax expires on the 24th. We don't do something soon, you're going to lose this money next year. And if I'd have known way ahead of time, I'd have told you.
I got you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. You finished, Ms. Lorraine?
You want to see it?
No, I'm good.
You good, Ms. Lorraine?
I'm telling you.
No, I can't recognize the parish president until if you're good.
Oh.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chasson. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if you guys remember, we did in March of 2023, we had the tax reform election, and then we went back and you had a vote again in April, and everybody kind of squirmed and said, why didn't we put this on the March ballot? If you go back and you look at the April ballot, Mr. Lorraine, it was that tax, and we just renewed it for another 10 years. So you're reading a tax call, yeah, technically it does expire in 2024, but you just renewed it in 2023, number one. Number two, I mean, you can defer it, I guess, and we can ask for Lisa left, a legal opinion, but in 1983, when they wrote the tax, I mean, I'm sure the whole parish was rural, right? I don't think there's anything he just read in that tax call doesn't say we can't use it in Lockport, Thibodeau, or Golden Meadow. While 61% of the fund has to go to streetlights, the other 39%, if my math is right, can go to nuisance abatement anywhere in Lafourche Parish. And I'm pretty sure if we went back and we looked at the number of structures that we did in Golden Meadow with the same fund, I mean, I don't know that we're going to call Lockport, Golden Meadow rural and not Lockport, but I don't know, as he would say, vote your conscience.
Yeah, well, I will say, when you have some structures across the street from Lockport Middle School like this, it needs to go, like yesterday. So I think it's more than just that. Anyway, Mr. Lorraine, you do have a follow-up, sir.
Yeah, how about we just defer this till we get an opinion from the DA on both of them?
Mr. President.
Again, we can, but I would, Mr. Lorraine, why in the last 5 years that we've been doing these every quarter, you've never brought this up before?
But he doesn't have to move on until he gets a legal opinion.
I'm not talking about FEMA. We do.
I just got this today. I knew that abatement was a...
You're not on the mic, Mr. Lorraine. Yeah.
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry I'm addressing him, but I'm trying to clarify why that we do this. So we've done this 4 times a year for 5 years now, right? And we've never questioned this before.
We never did none in the cities.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. I'll give you a list. Anyway, I don't see a problem with it. I'm pretty sure that as much as you guys talk to Ms. Augeron and as much as we talk to Ms. Augeron, that if this was a problem, as many times as she looks over an agenda, we'd have caught it by now. But up to you guys. We'll go ask for an opinion if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, so these have been delayed because of Hurricane Francine. I respectfully request that we pass these, and then if they're illegal, we don't do them, because then it'll still be on you. And we have done it like that in the past. Mr. Lorraine wants to talk again. Hold on. Ms. Lorraine.
It doesn't mean it was right if you've done it in the past. Let's
tear down a
support this
condemned
with
structure across from the middle school is not right?
I'll tell you what, I'll support this with the DA's opinion.
Agreed.
If it comes in, you could do it, that's fine.
So right now, I know we have a motion and a second on the floor. We have an amendment, if what I'm understanding, we have an amendment by Mr. Lorraine. That amendment to read that we move forward with these resolutions provided that it's legal.
That they approve it.
Is that good enough? Good enough amendment? Second to that amendment? Mr. Araby. So at this time, do anyone have any discussion on that amendment? Anyone have any questions on that amendment? Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir. No, hold on, all right, Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
Well, if we do it on that one.
The other one too.
Right, and then we've got one further down, 38, in Golden Meadow. I don't know if that's in the city limits
Let's do
of Golden Meadow. Is that an in or out? 240 West 222?
Yeah, but that's not in town, sir.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. I didn't know. That's
Everything
what.
below Golden Meadow, Leeville, below Golden Meadow, Fouchon is called Golden Meadow.
Okay,
Very good.
okay,
All right.
cool.
I'm not gonna leave you hang.
No, I'm not, I'm just saying, I just didn't know.
Thank you.
That's why I was asking.
If it's approved by the DA.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. Mr. Shessel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to look up the rest of them real quick, but in this particular case, this property is adjudicated to Lafourche Parish, so we're demolishing our own property. Don't know if that helps you, but it's not like we're using our own money to knock down our own property. Anyway.
Yeah, so he just did an amendment that says as provides legal, we can move forward, so I think we should be good on that. So we're still talking about the amendment.
You want that in all the resolutions?
Only this one so far. We'll bring it up on the next one. He said he'll offer it on the other one that's in the town city limit, if I understand. So once again, this is an amendment to add, provided this is legal.
Fine.
Good. Any questions on the amendment? We'll bring that to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Now back to
Who seconded?
Mr. Lorraine and Mr. Araby.
Thank you.
Sorry. So now we're going back to item 31. This is a resolution as amended. Everyone clear? Any discussion on the resolution as amended? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 32, resolution accepting the low quote of Tiger Demolition Incorporated in the amount of $3,800 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 232 School Street, Lockport, Louisiana, 70374, assessment number 0041434600, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Mr. Lorraine offers the amendment, same as the last one, provided that this is designated as being legal. We move forward, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion on the amendment? We'll move that one to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Now we'll come back to the original resolution, number 32, as amended. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Thank you all for getting that resolution done. Item 33, resolution accepting low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $2,400 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 1208 Palmisano Drive, Houma, Louisiana, 70364, assessment number 0110795802, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Roderick for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 34, resolution accepting low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $4,800 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 572 St. Philip Street, Racine, Louisiana, 70394, assessment number 0031061300, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Abbey for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 35, resolution accepting the low quote of Greenscapes of Louisiana Incorporated in the amount of $2,400 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 190 Lake Drive, Racine, Louisiana, 70394, assessment number 0031251000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Roderick for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 36, resolution accepting the low quote of Greenscapes of Louisiana Incorporated in the amount of $5,830 for the contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 900 Bruley Guillotte Road, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70301, assessment number 0010194701, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adam for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 37, resolution accepting the low quote of Greenscapes of Louisiana Incorporated in the amount of $8,730 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 111 Industrial Park Road, La Rose, Louisiana, 70373, assessment number 0092596700, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Shessel for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 38, resolution accepting the low quote of Greenscapes of Louisiana Incorporated in the amount of $8,230 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structures located at 240 West 22nd Street, Golden Meadow, Louisiana, 70357, assessment number 0102153900, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
These streets out of Golden Meadow, so we don't need no opinion on that one.
Very good. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 39, resolution accepting the low quote of Greenscapes of Louisiana Incorporated in the amount of $3,830 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 235 East 40th Street, Cutoff, Louisiana, 70345, assessment number 0102439634, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Rodrigue. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 40, resolution rescinding resolution number 24094 that accepted the low quote from Tiger Demolition Incorporated in the amount of $3,200 for contracted services related to the demolition of condemned structure located at 108 East 1st Street, La Rose, Louisiana, 70373, assessment number 0102551900, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 41, resolution rescinding resolution number 24-101 that accepted a low quote from Tiger Demolition Incorporated in the amount of $2,000 for the contracted service related to the demolition of condemned structure located at 323 West 107th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 8101832275, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 42, resolution certifying to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development that Lafourche Parish government has and will continue to comply with all FHWA/DOTD requirements regarding performance of interim inspections, calculating the load carrying capacity, and load posting deficient bridges under their jurisdiction for 2024, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Rodrigue. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 43, resolution in support of the proposed constitutional amendment amending Article 7, Section 10.2E1 of the Constitution of Louisiana to require federal revenues received by the state and generated from outer continental shelf oil and gas and alternative or renewable energy production be deposited into the Coastal Protection and Restoration Fund, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, and Mr. Chesson, you have the floor first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this was in conjunction with a bill that Representative Ogeron has authored. He's actually tried 3 years in a row. It took us 3 years to actually get it on the ballot for a constitutional amendment. So you hear us talk about the GOMESA legislation and the money we derive from oil and gas leases. His constitutional amendment would take any revenues that are generated from the offshore lease sales for wind and dedicate that to the CPRA trust fund as well, similar to do with oil and gas leases. I will say, and I've had this conversation a lot over the last couple of weeks, you know, the offshore wind stuff is not a Green New Deal, not a, pivot away from oil and gas. We will always be dependent upon oil and gas in this country, and I think in Lafourche Parish. But for us, and those of us who have been working on this for a while now, it's about putting our people back to work. Right, the lift boat companies, the technicians, partnering with Fletcher and Nichols to get blue collar workforce to work on the turbines, to build the blades, to put all this stuff up offshore. So, this could generate another. Depending on how big the lease sales become, it could generate a substantial amount of money. The last lease sale off of New York generated about $4 billion. So just think about if some of those dollars went into the coffers, right? The first lease sale in the Gulf was kind of lackluster. RWE got the first lease sale, which is a small block closer to Lake Charles, but BOEM is looking at another lease sale in 2026. So we're hopeful that they've taken our recommendations and they're going to let the industry drive where that lease sale is going to happen and not force it into certain blocks, and that will hopefully raise the prices that we're seeing. So we'd appreciate the support, and then, on the ballot in November, we'd appreciate the public support in dedicating this money to the CPRA Trust Fund. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Need a second, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, we didn't have a second.
No, sir.
Second.
I went without a second. Wow. So Mr. Adams had a second. Yeah. I saw his light on, I guess I'll jump. So we have a motion by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Adams. Is there any further discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you, Ms. Carleen. Item 44, resolution approving an agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Education for the Child and Adult Care Food Program, CACFP, for fiscal year 2025 and authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer said agreement and any relevant documents. Mr. Abbey for administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 45, resolution approving an agreement between the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development and Lafourche Parish Government for the project titled LA 3266, LA 308, 40 Arpin Road, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? Mr. Araby, you are up first, sir.
Mr. Chasson, that is the John Deere Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the state is overlaid, or do what they got to do to it before we accept
Finish
it?
your questions and I'll recognize them. Finish all your questions and I'll recognize them.
Well, my question is, are they going to come there with a little 4-inch overlay, or are they going to put a heavy-duty overlay, because that road is traveled by a lot of heavy equipment, especially going on right now with grinding. And if we accept a road with just a little, we'll be in trouble with it in 3 more years. So I just question it.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Araby. Mr. Chesson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it's not, Mr. Araby. They're actually going to rip up the entire base of the road, build back a 12 to 16-inch full patch, and then mill and overlay the entire thing. Because most of the road has a complete base failure if you've driven it lately. So part of the hiccup has been, and why it's taken so long, part of it was DOTD's fault. But if you've driven by John Deere lately, you notice the expansion of their parking lot. They're doing some things internal to the facility to start to build that cotton harvester that they moved here. That's part of their $30 million. DJ knows it very well. He goes every day. So we had to get, the parish is putting up a little bit of road sales tax dollars to pay for the turn lanes in the project to get John Deere facility in and out. So we had to get an exemption from DOTD to put the turn lanes in because it doesn't meet their current specification, knowing that it was going to be a local road at the end of the project, which is completely stupid, but that's the state for you. So no, it's going to be a complete 16-inch, 12 to 16-inch patch. So it ballooned from what was supposed to be like $1.5 million project in credit to like a $4.5 million project because of the extensive base work they have to do. So this is kind of the first step to that. We're not going to legally take it over until all of that's done. The project's slated to go to bid in December, and then they're going to start construction in late January, February once grinding's over to help meet the target that John Deere needs to meet for truck traffic sometime in mid-2025.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Araby, follow up.
All right, I just had a question about it, and I want to make sure that there's going to have a better foundation than what it has right now. Like you mentioned a few years back, I was here for 37 years, and I did see that road in bad shape, overlaid a couple of times in my term. So I want to make sure if we're going to take it, that it's going to be right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Araby. With that said, any further discussion on item 45? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 46, resolution approving an agreement between Dynamic Group LLC and Lafourche Parish Government for emergency standby products and services, and authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 47, resolution approving an agreement between Lamont Disaster Recovery LLC and Lafourche Parish Government for emergency response and remediation services, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 48, resolution reappointing one member on the Veterans Memorial District Ward 10 of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana Board, representing post number 259. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Lorraine?
Dallas Marlboro.
Mr. Marlboro, second by?
Second.
Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 49, resolution appointing one member on the Recreation District Number 11 Board. Mr. Roderick for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Roderick?
Guy Campbell.
Mr. Guy Campbell, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 50, resolution appointing one member on the Fire Protection District Number 4 Board. Mr. Melvin for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Melvin?
Mr. David Boudreau.
Mr. Boudreau, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 51 has been pulled, as I understand it, correct, Mr. Melvin?
Yes.
51 is pulled. Item 52, resolution approving change order number 4 for the project titled Hurricane Ida Repairs, Lafourche Parish Government Complex, Phase 1 re-roofing, increasing the contract price by $12,238.97 and adding 60 additional days to the contract time, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Number 53, resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the Lafourche Parish School Board, Career Magnet Center, and Lafourche Parish Government to provide service and maintenance on parish-owned vehicles, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Ms. Sesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. I will say they have done work before on fire department apparatus, and they do a wonderful job. Item 54, resolution approving amendment number 2 to the agreement between the Louisiana Workforce Commission, Office of Workforce Development, and Lafourche Parish Council, Office of Community Action for the Community Services Block Grant Fiscal Year 2024, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 55, resolution approving an agreement between the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Lafourche Parish Government for use of the Matthews Government Complex as a disaster recovery center, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 56, resolution accepting the low bid of Lowland Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $3,224,791 for the project titled Sugar Ridge Pump Station Rehabilitation, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Brumfield. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 57, resolution accepting the proposal of Meyer Engineers LTD for architectural engineering services for the project titled Raceland Ballpark Improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 58, resolution approving amendment number 2 with Rev to move coroner's office services and provide internet for Wallace Center Hub, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 59, resolution approving change order number 1 from Byron E. Talbot Contractor Incorporated for the project titled Priority Road List 2022 Road Sales Tax District 2 Road Improvement Project, decreasing the contract price by $74,411.76, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say, when we first started all them streets a few years ago, you could get a mile for 500,000. Them days are over with. This is just 6 streets, gentlemen. 6 streets, and you're almost at $2 million. But they're gonna have the courtesy to give us back 74,000. So I'm sure they didn't make no money.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 60, resolution approving an agreement between the State of Louisiana and Lafourche Parish government for the Gaines Waterline Improvements, Planning and Construction, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? Mr. Araby, you have the floor first, sir.
Mr. Chesson, I know this project, I've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and I think you had $1 million in the budget for it through the parish already, or we still have that money? Because I was told that we don't have it anymore.
So, you finished with your questions?
Yeah, I'd like to know what happened to the money that we put aside for it.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chesson, you now have the floor, sir. First, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So no, we don't have the $1 million anymore. That $1 million was made up of those American Rescue Plan dollars we got during COVID. When Ida hit, we took that $18 million and balanced the budget with it. So our hope is that one day when all these FEMA reimbursements come in, we may be able to back that money back out. The $1 million that we got from the state in this particular item is going to go toward starting the engineering work. So we had our meeting with Principal Engineering last week with the Water District to begin that process. And then we're already working with the delegation on some additional money for next year in the capital outlay budget. There was also some money that was set aside for a water line in Kramer that was actually double funded. Senator Greg Miller had put, I think, $1.5 million in the budget, and so did Representative Fontenot. So our hope is that the Kramer line doesn't need $3 million, right? They only need about $1 million. So if we back out that other 2.5, or what is going to be $2 million, we can put toward that, and we actually don't have to put up any money. We're going to have to make up a little bit of the match on the capital outlay side, but hopefully the state will be on the hook for all of this, and we actually don't need the $1 million that we really don't have anymore anyway. But we're starting, finally. We're starting. We started, finally.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Mr. Tebow.
Item 61, resolution approving, he said yea? He said yea. Item 61, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office and Lafourche Parish Government for inmate labor crew and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Burke for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 62, resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between Lafourche Parish Government, the Louisiana Department of State, Office of the Secretary of State, Lafourche Parish Register of Voters, and the Lafourche Parish Veterans Memorial District, Ward 10, for a temporary early voting location, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said memorandum of understanding and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 63, resolution reappointing one member on the Fire Protection District Number 3 Board representing the town of Golden Meadow. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Lorraine?
Morris Guidry.
Mr. Morris Guidry. Can I get a second for Mr. Guidry? Second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 64, resolution appointing 8 members on the Head Start Policy Council as parent representatives and alternates. Ms. Chesson for the administration. Who do you have, Ms. Chesson?
Get all these names right. We have Sebastian Vizier. Do we want to name each one?
You can name them all, then we'll second the whole group. Yeah, since we all have it written anyway.
Sebastian Vizier, Lacey Laurie, Haley Billiot, Lacey Hughes, Alana Ferreira, Stacy S.J., Natalie Opier, and Anna Bourne.
Can I get a second for all those? Mr. Lorraine seconds that. And I'm not sure, I didn't press my button to recognize. I'm guessing, Rachel, you catching that? You were able to do it, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. Still trying to get used to this system. That's why I know Mr. Araby a couple of times I waited for him to stop talking because I can't recognize two. So it's not being disrespectful. It's just the system does not allow it. So we have a motion and a second for all 8 of these individuals. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 65, resolution amending resolution number 24-286 that approve an agreement between Lafourche Parish Council, Office of Community Action, and we've scratched out 2 and then added 1, hotel assistant providers for the purpose of providing temporary housing assistance and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreements and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Brumfield, Fed Administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 66, resolution approving an agreement between the United States Department of the Interior and National Park Service, Laurel Valley Village Incorporated, and Lafourche Parish Government for the purpose of collaborating a tour and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Adams, Fed Administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 67, resolution approving an agreement between the Louisiana Workforce Commission, Office of Workforce Development, and Lafourche Parish Government with the fiscal agent being LAT Workforce Development Board Incorporated to provide services to youth, adult, and dislocated workers in the region in fiscal year 2025, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Brumfield. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Brings us to item M, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Managers, Reports, Presentations, and or Updates. Item 68, Department of Public Works Representative to present a report, and I'm told it is a 25-minute report. Dylan, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. I only have 121 slides.
I can't talk anymore.
As always, starting with the Thibodeau Field Office, this is Lede Drive, replace collapsed driveway culvert. Moving to the Choctaw Field Office, Chack Bay North Levee, clean Barrow Canal. We also clean the Barrow Canal and the Chack Bay South Levee. Moving to the Bayou Blue Field Office, Savoy Street, clean culverts. Silver Street, swept roadside ditches. Oakview Drive and Willow Street, replace collapsed cross culvert. Moving to Raceland Field Office is Brooklyn Lane, swept roadside ditches and clean culverts. Thoroughbred Park Drive right-of-way, cleared the right-of-way. Thoroughbred Park Drive, swept roadside ditches. Pelican Drive outfall, remove fallen trees from the outfall. We also completed that on Eagle Drive right-of-way, as well as the Blanchard Canal. Moving to Lockport Field Office, the Mio Drive outfall, cleared and swept outfall. The Boulay outfall, spread spoils. East 39th Street, swept roadside ditches. South Main Street, replace collapsed driveway culvert. Moving to Galliana Field Office is the Jimmy Vado outfall, spread spoils. West 53rd Street, remove fallen tree. East 154th Street, swept roadside ditches. And now moving to the work completed by the maintenance contract, this is 148 Red Maple, replace curb. 152 Red Maple, replace curb. 113 Belle Isle, replace curb. 153 Laverne Drive, replace curb. Also at 169 Highland Oaks. At 105 Abigail, repair concrete panels. There's multiple at this location. This is Layton Pump Station. These are some repairs that were done to the electric pump. The electric pump failed and needed to be rebuilt. We took the opportunity while it was being rebuilt to stiffen up the platform. The platform had been bad for quite some time now, and with the pump being out of service, we hired our maintenance contractor to do some much-needed improvements there. It consisted of driving 4 65-foot piles, entire new timber structure. The only thing that's on the structure that was from the original is the trash screens. Everything is brand new. And you can see the maintenance contractor assisting us in reinstalling the pump. We actually couldn't get the pump in. We had to get a diver. We removed 2 garbage cans, a swimming pool, 3 5-gallon buckets, a bowling ball, and some other things, and that's why the pump wouldn't go in. It actually had filled in during the last event.
That's unbelievable.
As far as the work completed in the office over the last month, there were no permanent servitudes acquired. There were 2 major subdivision inspections and 1 major subdivision review completed, 2 property redivision reviews. There were 16 culvert permits and 1 fence permit issued. A total of 410 work requests were received. 63 permits were reviewed for compliance, and there were 7 total jobs completed by the maintenance contractor. As far as engineering projects, there are currently 27 projects in the design phase, 7 projects in the construction. Currently, no projects out for bid, and no projects that have been completed over the last month. And with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Questions for Dylan? Mr. Araby, you have the floor first, sir.
Question, I got one question for you, Dylan. Highway 652, I know that's not my area, that's Mr. Charles's area, but I've been getting a lot of calls about some flooding going on by the, in between Buford Street and the Reservoir Canal. And I understand you met with DOTD a couple of weeks or so ago about the work they're going to be doing over there and overlaying that road and things like that. Did y'all have any talk about culverts besides on Buford Street going to the Reservoir Canal on Highway 652?
All right, Mr. Araby, Mr. Melvin, present your question.
Yes, thank you. Dylan, I know that there's a few little spots in the country club that have some kind of strange streets off of Holiday and Fairfield, and Bermuda and Jamaica didn't have their branches picked up. A lot of them did. Most of the whole place did, so thank y'all, but they just must have missed it because I know they're picking up debris first. So 403 Bermuda and then Jamaica's right off of there. I'm told that those 2 streets are almost totally missed. And that was, tree waste. And also, I got a call about 1434 Highway 308 about some debris. I told him it's coming, but if you wanted to make a note of that, since I got a call right before the meeting, 1434 Highway 308, please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. And Mr. Brown, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. To address Mr. Araby, I'm unfamiliar of any flooding between 652 and the Reservoir Canal. Is that like that little strip where the houses are between 652?
That's a building. Yeah, that's
Between 652 and the Reservoir, like where single houses are?
from Buford Street to where the houses are before the reservoir. Where Willie Bob used to live, that area there.
I don't know him. Anyway, we'll talk about that after, that's fine. We did meet with DOTD. DOTD's getting ready to overlay it. We asked if they took into consideration any culverts crossing. We did get in and inspect every culvert at the catch basin. There's only one that I think would not have a useful life greater than 10 years. They did come back and say we could replace it on our own dime, but they can't afford to replace it at this time. So if we replace it now, it costs us somewhere to the tune of $450,000 to replace some of those larger culverts that cross. If it fails tomorrow, it's on DOTD's back to replace rather than our back. So we did discuss it. We did kick that can around. Just funds at this time aren't available to do it. We did request the milling off of that street to be hauled to the landfill. So we're working through that with them. So that's one positive from it. We did not know about the project. When we saw the painting, we were looking at some drainage concerns down 652 across the 40 Arpent Canal. I thought that's what you were talking about. On the other side, as it goes back towards the prairie, we were looking at that. We got some issues there we're going to be addressing. But no real efforts other than meeting with DOT on the cross culverts. I hope that answers your question. And Mr. Melvin, I will put in, I have 403 Bermuda, and what's the address on Jamaica?
Let me see. think it's 143.4, but hold on.
Okay, that's fine. I will look into it. I will say that there is a different debris contractor.
143.4.
Thank you. And then I did get your 1434 Highway 308. There's a different debris contractor that's doing, DOTD issued a contract as well as the parish. So DOTD is picking up separate from the parish. The good news is it's the same contractor, so we can work through that issue with them. But you'll notice that some of the parish streets got picked up a little earlier than the state started. So we can mention it to them. I'll ask for the request on that, but we'll get our debris contractor to pick up Bermuda and Jamaica.
Very good. Thank you, Dylan. Much appreciated. It brings us to item N, questions for the administration. Mr. Arabi, you have the floor first.
Mr. President, can you give me an update? I guess I could address Dylan with this also. Butch Hill Pump Station, where we at with that? When we gonna break ground on it? And also the Alidar Pump Station. I know we approved it a couple of meetings back, and I still don't see any construction going on, so I was wondering what's going on.
Thank you, Mr. Arabi. Mr. Melvin.
I'd like an update on the Bayou Vista Pump Station and the negotiations with the right-of-way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Chesson, do you wish to answer these? Okay, Mr. Chesson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Butch Hill's close. Trying to figure out a few funding maneuvers to make sure we have all the money in place to go out to bid. But crossing my fingers, I can make that happen before Thanksgiving. Dylan's going to look at me funny, but I'm going to get it done. Alidar, I talked to Stevie yesterday. We were together for most of the afternoon. We've issued the notice to proceed. I think they're working on buying materials and getting everything staged. So I would.
Next week or two, they're going to go on the other side of the railroad track, start that work first.
Next week or two, they're going to go on the other side of the railroad track and start that work first. So you should see some, I'm just regurgitating it tonight. You should see some work in the next couple of weeks. Bayou Vista, we did meet with the landowner last week, worked through the right-of-way issues with him. He came back a couple days later with some additional, I don't want to call them demands, but just some additional points of contention that he wants to see addressed. So Stevie's working through that to give us some options to figure out how to do that.
North side or south side?
North side. They did go meet with the south side based on the relatively good meeting we had with the north side landowner, but I'm not sure they've gotten anything back yet. So I'll keep it on my list. I do have a couple of things, Mr. Chairman, if you want me to keep going.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask for questions. I want to ask, I don't know if we've had this discussion before about the landfill, but, tree debris gets hauled there. And I don't know if have we had this discussion before about residents being able to just bring their own trees there? Is that something that's possible, something that's available? I had a lot of residents that called me and said, look, I don't mind hauling my branches, trees somewhere, I just don't know, I don't have anywhere to bring them. Yep. Of course, when I was a kid, maybe Terry wasn't, but I was a kid, the landfill was open, and so everybody used to bring their stuff to the racing landfill. I'm just wondering if there's any way we can make arrangements to make that happen again.
We can. The one thing we got to be careful of is the trucks coming in and out, just making sure we have a segregated area where we're not crossing traffic and mixing monitored versus non-monitored debris, but we can look at that in the future.
Yeah, I think Francine would have been a good one, because remember we had the threat right after Francine, and people were like panicky, wanted to get the stuff out, and they were willing to bring it, just we had nowhere. The other thing, and I don't know if you know the answer, this will be a question for recreation, and I've been passing every day, getting a lot of questions. The lighting going on at the ballpark, the old ballparks in Lockport, what's the status? It looks like it's kind of slowed down. Are they waiting for concrete to cure? Do you even know? Or
Mitch, you want to take that one?
Yeah, Mitch, if you don't mind, appreciate it. Mitch, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So yeah, they were waiting on some concrete to cure, and then I got notification actually this afternoon from Jennifer that the bolts versus the pedestals, there was some misalignment, so they got to re-drill the pedestals.
So that's causing all the delays and the cancellation.
So there's a delay with that, and actually we've got the same issue in Raceland as well. So
yeah, they look phenomenal in Raceland. Look.
And they got some poles going up there, but I'm waiting on a timeline to know exactly what it's going to look like for Lockport, and I can get back to you if you like.
Yeah, I just appreciate they're having to cancel events, and it's obviously it's moving forward, so you kind of run into those things.
Yep.
But I think anyway, Mr. President, I didn't mean to chime in. I know you had some stuff to mention. Go ahead. And now you can go ahead.
There we go. Just a couple of quick notes, Mr. Chairman. Today we were, both Congressman Graves and Senator Cassidy announced it. We were awarded a substantial amount of money for the rebuild of the Golden Meadow Library. So not all of that money is geared toward just the Golden Meadow Library itself. It's kind of a 408 combined project. So some of it's going to Golden Meadow, some of it's going to go to the Galliana project. But we're making progress, Mr. Lorraine. We're making progress. You guys will note, you've seen a lot, if you've paid attention to the local news lately, the governor is likely to call a special session sometime last week of October, first week of November, on his tax reform package. We have, the Police Jury Association Executive Board has a meeting with the governor tomorrow, so he can spell it out for us. I would fully imagine that not only is he going to tackle income tax and corporate taxes, but inventory and the offshore vessel tax is going to be on the table as well. If you kind of read through what they've been slowly putting out with Secretary Nelson, it seems like he's going to go after an opt-in, opt-out kind of approach where the parishes can opt in to continue to collect it, but if we opt out, we get one-time lump sum payment. So I'm anxious to see what the call's about tomorrow, so we'll keep you guys updated on that, but know that we'll be in Baton Rouge very shortly. We do have a meeting on the 21st, Mr. Chairman, with the DOTD Secretary to talk about the Valentine Pontoon Bridge, try to break the log jam that we're in. We were able to finally find, my good friend Bo Black left the department, who was the local government liaison that we always used to hang our hat on to get these type of meetings. So he finally connected me with the guy who's taking his place, and Jacques was really good at getting us a meeting very quickly. And also for you, Mr. Chairman, tomorrow morning the notice will be posted at the Floating Village in Lockport saying they have 10 days to get out. It was laminated for me today so I could go stick it on the boat shed. So I'm gonna get with Harry tomorrow. He give me my security detail when I go tape it on the Floating Village.
Thank you, because yesterday, as I was passing, there was a car parked right in front of the Lockport sign.
Yeah. So we're gonna tackle that one tomorrow, Mr. Chairman. And finally, we are going to be applying for $500,000 in a community assessment grant from the EPA, which is kind of the Brownsville stuff, for Race and Lockport Matthews. This is going to allow us to put a note in the application that the public was made aware. So just for the public's benefit, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Rev, we are going to be applying for that community assessment grant. We tried it last year to do some work in the Alleydaw area. And then I think between the bridges on a couple of spots, just to clean up some old properties. There's some really kind of tight census tracts on where we can and can't do this, which is why it's relegated to Race and Lockport Matthews. So we'll be applying for that. If we get it, we'll give you the list of projects and the list of buildings we're going to target. But we're going to try again this year to get that money. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. President. Brings us to item O, discussion. Number 69, discussion concerning burnt streetlights and the installation of streetlights. Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah. It's a crying shame, all the streetlights that got burnt in this parish. I know I'm not the only one that has it. I got about 50 of them in my area. I got about 5 lights that we applied for that never got put back after Ida, and maybe a little more. But I want to say that Mr. Dufresne does a hell of a job. There's some problems with trying to get lights put back on. I even got one of my constituents that said he threw his arms in the air and he said, I give up. I said, you might give up, but I'm not going to give up. I mean, we've been trying and trying, and that's, let me see. That's Daniel Jeremy Squirrel. He got a nickname Squirrel. West 163. 218, 284, 164, 161, 276, and 218. Energy even told them they were coming Monday. Never showed up. So I think there's a problem with Energy with some of their contractors. Maybe they need to look at a new contract or something. And I got Mr. Nelson Jeremy down the bayou, below Golden Meadows, Celestine Drive, the lights on the posts when he turns in. They said it's not even, they don't even have a light there. Well, come on. So I talked to Deland and she gave me Stacy Potno, so I'm going to try with her. And it just doesn't make sense, because I think it's time that the parish starts deducting whatever the lights that are not on, get our money back. 10 years ago, I could tell you, when Energy was taking care of it themselves, you could call. They wouldn't do it today, but within 2-3 days, you had the light. Today, to get a light burnt, fixed, or a light put on, it's like going to Washington and getting a Republican and a Democrat to vote alike. That's what it's like. That's how tough it is. And I know I'm not the only one, but we got to come up with something. This is just totally ridiculous because we're paying for it. If it's burnt, you're paying for it. If it's on 24 hours, they got to eat it. But you got a flat rate, and we're getting charged and not getting the services. And try to meet with Energy. I already went with a lady to that new facility right there on 308 to talk to Energy. She had a problem. They wouldn't even let us in. Wouldn't let us in. They came to the gate. I said, can I get 5 minutes of your time? No, sir. That's how you get treated with Energy. So it's time that we put our foot down with them. I know I'm not the only one. You guys have got something too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
I'm going to try Stacy Fatno.
She's a commercial customer service rep for commercial. She's not the government side, but, right, Paula would be your contact for streetlights.
But I mean, I didn't try the other one. I'm not going to say her name. And I called a big boss I talked to. Didn't get nothing with her either.
Yeah.
What gets me is that they're telling the constituents, because a lot of them go online and do it themselves, we'll be there Monday or we'll be there Tuesday, and they never show up. And then a lot of them get, well, we fixed that already, and they never did. So we can't keep going this way.
I can tell you that I've been probably 2 months now in constant battles on their reliability. Since Ida, the reliability of Energy has been abysmal. They're aware of it. Some of the new infrastructure that came up back with is not functioning like they thought it would. So they're about to start some other projects to bring more reliability back. But yeah, reliability is atrocious right now.
And on all these lights that I have the dates, because I keep a log of it. And I look at it, I want to cry, because it's a crying shame.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion? We got a whole bunch. All right. Mr. Adams, you have the floor first, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say the Chack Bay Gumbo Festival is this weekend. So y'all come out, have fun, good music, good food. That's it.
Excellent. Mr. Melvin.
Yes, real quick, did you make that announcement yet, Fournette? Okay, so Ms. Fontana wanted to mention that the polls open at 6 a.m. That's one thing she forgot to say that she wanted said. Number two, I wanted to say that this Thursday, October 10th at 6 p.m. at the Oaks, Dr. Randy Russ is going to give a talk on election integrity, and he talks to folks across the country. It's going to be very interesting. And just FYI, I'm a fan of hydroelectric, but I'm not a big fan of total green energy. I don't know if a windmill even makes enough energy that it took to make the darn thing. And notice that for the cleanups, there's no windmills, there's no solar panels, it's all diesel and gas. Aline.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Araby.
I just want to thank the people that came out to our festival this past weekend and supported us. We had a real good turnout, even though we were blessed with 4 inches of rain on Friday, opening day. The good Lord blessed the other 2 days, great weather for us. And I want to thank all the volunteers that helped us, and expect, again, everybody that came out and supported us. Thank y'all.
Yeah, you beat me to the bunch. Ms. Chasson.
So I got to get on that bandwagon as well. So we had our Hurricane Festival September 27, 28, and 29th. We had a great 3 days. God blessed us with some beautiful weather, and I want to thank all our volunteers that worked so hard in our booths so we can keep our facility running and operational. And thank everybody for coming and supporting us.
Very good, Deland. I agree. We absolutely have to thank our wonderful volunteers. Many of them take a very, very heavy load to continue the traditions along by Lafourche with these festivals. And we're in the heart of the festival season. Like you said, Chack Bay is right around the corner. So thanks to the volunteers. And we certainly want to thank the community and all the sponsors for supporting all these wonderful nonprofit organizations that benefit and put this money right back into our wonderful community. With that said, brings me to item P, adjournment. On a motion by Mr. Adams and second by Mr. Araby, and with no further business, the Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of October 8, 2024 will be adjourned at 19:49 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9-0.
Good job, man.
It's rough on after weekend.
I know, that's why.